Guys, today I'm doing a Christmas haul and going over all the books I got for Christmas. I'm starting out with two that I bought for myself. All the other ones I'm going to talk about were gifts, but these two I really liked and I really wanted to buy. So the first one is Pretty Boys Are Poisonous by Megan Fox. I have been wanting this book forever and I saw it in Walmart, and it's basically like poems that she wrote that was like therapeutic for her to heal from some of like the relationships and like trauma she's been through. I think that's really beautiful way to express how you're feeling. So I bought this. All the poems are like, it kind of looks like Milk and Honey or those kind of books. So I think this will be a fairly fast read whenever I like get to it, but I was really excited about this one. The other one that I bought for myself is The Walking Drum by Louis L'Amour. I already say that. I have another one of his books. It actually looks like this. It's the same like leather-bound gold font. My sister got me that one. It's like a Western story. That's usually what he writes. But this one, he has little maps. This is in medieval Europe. And I think this one is really cool. I wanted another one of his books. I found it at an antique mall, and I just like the way they look, and I loved his writing in the other one, so I thought I'd pick up another one of his books. So the rest of these I'm going to talk about are gifts. So I have the Glass Castle. I'm currently reading this one, hence the bookmark. This is a memoir about the author. I don't really know who she is. My friend gifted this to me. She says it's very like a traumatic read, which so far it kind of is. It's a little odd, but whenever I get done with it, I will make a review. But it's good so far. She told me about it, and then she got me a copy for Christmas, for my Christmas gift. So, currently reading this one, and it's good so far. Next are two from one of my grandmas. We have For One More Day by Mitch Albom. This is the same author that wrote Tuesdays with Morrie, and I absolutely love that book. This book is about this boy. It starts out with a boy and it like ends with him as a man. But this boy has to choose, is forced to choose between his parents. Like his parents are getting divorced, he has to choose his father or his mother. And he ends up choosing his father, and then his mother commits suicide. And then as an adult, I believe he commits suicide. Yeah, he commits suicide, and after he died, he goes up, I guess, to heaven or wherever he goes, and he meets his mother for one more day and gets to spend one more day with her to see how he missed and to like get to know her and everything. So I thought that was really beautiful, and my grandma got it as my stocking stuffer. So excited for this. We love Mitch Albom. I'm so excited to read more of his books. And then she also got me Holly Jolly Cowboy. This is a Christmas romance with a cowboy, and I saw it in Target and I wanted it so bad, but I restrained myself and I put it on my Christmas list, and my grandma got it for me, and I'm very happy for it. I've already read it. Review is up on my Instagram. It was super good. I loved it. It was kind of cheesy. I like cowboys. I think I rated it like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The romance was really cute. The cowboy was kind of an asshole at first. They were like, it was like an enemies to lovers. They were like haters to lovers. So they didn't really like each other at first, but throughout the book, they like got to know each other, and their jobs forced them to be closer together, and they fell in love. I don't think, so I want you to picture this, okay? Picture this, I'm gonna talk about the front. So in the book, they talk about how the cowboy, his name is Adam, he wears a baseball cap. Not once in the story does he mention that he wears a cowboy hat. So I think this is an incorrect depiction. And also, Adam describes Holly, or Miss Girl over here, how her body is all curvy and she's got kind of a fat ass. So I don't know if you can see, but that is a very flat ass on Miss Thing. So I don't feel like the people on the cover are necessarily completely accurate, but I still think the cover is super cute, and I loved the story. So, not very much hate, but I was obsessed with this. Go read this if you want a cheesy Christmas romance with a little bit of spice. A little bit of spice. This was super good. Next, we have my 2 books that were given to me by my parents. I have the Twisted Games. I mentioned I got like Twisted Love or whatever, the first book. I already have that one, so this is the second one. So I'm excited to start reading that at some point. I do have one, if you're watching this, correct me if I'm wrong if you already read them, but I do have one issue with this series. I don't think the books, like, connect. From what I read on the back, there's no, like, connection of setting, there's no carry-on of characters. It's like a whole new story, but it's within the same series. So is it more like a universe, or am I wrong in the plots, like, connect in some way after you read them? Because I've never, like, read a series like that, so I'm a little nervous, but I am excited to read these at some point. The last book I got from my mom was The House of Roots and Ruin. If you were following my Instagram, I've already read The House of Salt and Sorrows, and this is a continuation of that story. The House of Salt and Sorrows is like a 12 Dancing Princesses like redo, and it follows one sister, and then this book continues with a different sister, and I'm really excited to read this. I got House of Salt and Sorrows from a friend, and now I have this book, so once I'm done reading this, I'm going to pass this on to her so she can read it as well. Okay, so this next bit, there's a lot. Let me count. This next set of books, there's 42 books. So on my Christmas list for my other grandma, I just put books. I was like, hand-me-down books, like books you want to get rid of, like antique shopping books, Dollar Tree books, wherever, like books from anywhere. I just wanted to, build my TBR and get more books. I was anticipating getting like 5 books, not 42. So this was much more than I anticipated, but it's going to be a very good haul. Most of them are like murder mystery, detective books. There's a couple romance, there's a couple like historical fictions, a couple non-fictions. Oh, I guess, is that non-fiction? Whichever one the real information is, I always get confused. A couple like churchy, religious ones, and also some youth books. But I'm gonna start with the little churchy ones. There's only 3. There's Peace Like a River. I think this cover looks super cute. The back is short, so I'll read it. There's an 11-year-old Reuben Land, an asthmatic boy in the Midwest who has reason to believe in miracles. Along with his sister and father, Reuben finds himself on a cross-country search for his outlaw older brother who has been controversially charged with murder. Their journey unfolds like a revelation, and its conclusion shows how family love and faith can stand up to the most terrifying of enemies, the most tragic of fates. So, I think this one will be really good with a little sprinkle of faith in there. I've read like a super religious book before, and it was good, but I'm not like a very big religious person. So I think this one will be good with just like a sprinkle of the religion in there. The next one is Grace Unplugged. I think this one is more like solely based on faith. Because it's this 18-year-old girl, she's a singer, and she's also passionate about her Christian faith, as she is her phenomenal, God-given musical talent. Both traits come from her father, one-hit wonder Johnny Trey, who found a new life in Jesus after losing his chart success 2 decades ago. When Grace encounters her own musical break of a lifetime, the sudden dive into the real world puts her deeper beliefs to the test. Pop superstardom is just within reach, but appears to require spiritual compromise. Will Grace reject her faith, or will she own it? So this one is more like centered on faith and religion and one's own journey with that. And it says it's based on the major motion picture of the same name, so I guess there's a movie, but I think this one could also be good, but like I think it's more centered on religion. The third churchy one, I have a feeling this is going to be a sad one, is Children Are From Heaven. I didn't read the back of this one yet, but I think it's like, let's read back. This brilliantly original and practical, this is a parenting book. I probably won't read this. It says this brilliantly original and practical system for parenting children is the brainchild of John Gray, whose Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus books and seminars have helped millions of adults communicate more effectively and lovingly with each other. Based on the idea that children respond better to positive rather than negative reinforcement, the Children Are From Heaven program concentrates on rewarding, not punishing children and fostering their innate desire to please their parents. I probably won't read this. This is a parenting book. I'm 21. I am not going to have kids for a very long time. So, I don't know I'm going to do this, but seems like an odd book to give me, but I'm guessing they didn't read the back. I don't know why I would be given this, but I don't know how I'm going to do this, but this is a parenting book, so moving on. The next set of books I'm going to talk about, I'm going to call them like YAs, like they're for youth. This section seems like books I might have read like when I was in 8th grade maybe, but we're gonna call them youth books. So we have The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I've seen like little bits for like this movie, but I haven't read the book. But I have the first, second, and third one. So I have the whole series now. So once I get to these, I'm gonna like read them in order. I'm gonna read the back of the first one just to get like a gist. Let me see if I can even find it. Okay, so I'm just gonna read this bit. Once there was a pair of pants, just an ordinary pair of jeans, but these pants, the traveling pants, went on to do great things. This is the story of 4 friends, Lena, Tibby, Bridget, and Carmen, who made it possible. Okay, that did not give me any context or understanding of the book, but I kind of like the surprising ones, so excited for this set. Okay, next we have Cupcake. This is actually the third in a series, following a girl named Sid Charisse, Cece. I guess in this one, I didn't realize this was the third until after I read the little bit. The first 2 books are called Gingerbread and Shrimp. Shrimp is the name of her boyfriend, I guess. But in this one, she goes off to college and like, she misses shrimp, essentially. So I guess I need to find the other 2 Gingerbread and Shrimp before I read this one, because this is the third. And the final in our little YA youth girly set is Annie Freeman's Fabulous Traveling Funeral. This one actually sounds really good. As I was pulling it out, one of my aunts said she read it and it was really good. So I'll read the back of this one. For Katherine Gibbons and the 4 women about to become her best friends, the adventure begins with a UPS package. Inside is a pair of red sneakers filled with ashes and a note that will forever change their lives. Katherine's oldest and dearest friend, the irrepressible Annie Freeman, left one final request: a traveling funeral. And she wants the most important women in her life as pallbearers. From Sonoma to Manhattan, Catherine, Laura, Rebecca, Jill, and Marie will carry Annie's ashes to the special places in her life. At every stop, there's a surprise encounter and a small miracle waiting. And as they whoop it up across the country, attracting interest wherever they go, they share their deepest secrets, tales of broken hearts and second chances, missed opportunities, and new beginnings. And as they grieve over what they've lost, they discover how much is still possible if only they can unravel the secret Annie left them. So while this is like sounds kind of sad, it also sounds really good. So I'm also excited to read this. It's like grief, friendship, but also there's like an adventure involved. So I think this could be really good. The next section is the biggest out of the set of 42. This is like the detective murder mystery bit. So we have Good Girl Running. This girl is like suffering from amnesia and has like a gunshot like scar on her forehead, and her adventures through life. I'm gonna just breeze through these. So this one sounds interesting. I read the back, sounds really good. We have Maximum Velocity, where there's a man and some stranger is impersonating him and claiming to be the husband to his wife and the father of his kid, and like convinces the police this is so, and then this guy like turns into an assassin. So sounds odd but interesting. We have Dexter, Dearly Devoted Dexter. So this is some serial killer. I haven't actually seen the show, but based on the show, I think. We have Mad River Road. This is also like, this is kind of like a romance mystery bit where this girl like takes up her life to go on this adventure with this guy she's in love with, and then things turn bad. So that sounds interesting. We have Blood Sins, where this police officer finds this girl and like recruits her, and then like sends her undercover into this cult. So I think that sounds really good. True Detectives. I haven't read this one. Oh, I did read this one. So we have Moses Reed and Aaron Fox have the same mother. Their respective fathers were cops, friends, and partners. And despite their shared calling, their turbulent family history has set them at odds. Moses is a no-frills LAPD detective. Aaron is a smooth-talking private eye. Usually they go their separate ways, but the disappearance of a straight-A student, Kaylin Frostig, isn't usual. Reluctantly tag-teaming to crack a cold case that won't die, Moses and Aaron descend into the sinister underside of the City of Angels. Surrounded by twisted millionaire moguls, tarnished trophy wives, and famous faces with hellish secrets, they pull no punches as they penetrate the strange, seductive world of glamour, wealth, and power to keep LA's dark dreamland from claiming another lost soul. So this one also sounds good. It's like found family, but like also like murder mystery. So I think this one could be really good too. Then we have The Rook, which I think is another detective one. We have A Grave Mistake. This one looks really cute. I think it looks interesting. Ooh, it says, the first mistake, dead. One ordinary man. Just the latest in a string of losers in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not the kind of case to yank New Orleans homicide detective Guy Gautreaux back from his leave of absence in Tucson, Louisiana. The second mistake. There's someone in Tucson Guy will do anything to protect. Jilly Gable is desperate to find the love of the family who abandoned her as a child when the wife of a powerful New Orleans antique dealer and loan shark sweeps into town claiming to be her mother. Jilly is all too willing to love and forget. That sounds like a problem. Final reckoning. Slowly and methodically, evil comes in on Jilly, and only the truth in Guy can save her. Connecting the dots between the Big Easy and Tucson all but cinches his case, but Jilly and Guy are still in danger. They have only each other for protection. Will that be enough? So while this sounds suspenseful, it also sounds cheesy, and the dude's name is Guy. That's creative, but sounds good. We also have A Tangled Web. Let's get the wrong down. I'm not gonna read it. There's a lot of words. We have A Tangled Web. Walking the Bones. This one looks really good. This is another detective like murder mystery from Sergeant Ryan DeMarco. This is written by Randall Silvis. So it says a Ryan DeMarco mystery, so I'm guessing this is one of those where it's like they have the same detective in lots of books, but it's like a universe. It's not necessarily a series where you have to read them in a certain order. You can read them at any point and everything will still make sense. So I'm excited for this one. This one looks really good. We also have What Lies in the Woods. I love the pink against the black. I think that was very eye-catching. Let's read the back of this one since it's short. Naomi Shaw used to believe in magic. 22 years ago, she and her two best friends, Cassidy and Olivia, spent the summer roaming the woods, imagining a world of ceremony and wonder, the Goddess Game. The game became an obsession and a refuge for the three girls. The sanctuary was suddenly shattered when Naomi was attacked. Miraculously, she survived her 17 stab wounds and lived to identify the man who hurt her. The girls' testimony put away a serial killer, wanted for murdering 6 women. They were heroes. And they were liars. For decades, the girls have kept a secret that might be worth killing for, hidden in the forest. But now, Olivia wants to tell the whole story. Then she goes missing, and Olivia sets out to find what really happened in the woods, no matter how dangerous the truth turns out. This sounds really good. It kind of reminded me of like, what's it called? Is it like The Shadow Man or something? But it was like this tall, like, lanky, pale-skinned person that was like in the woods, and there was like this news story where these 2 girls like stabbed their friend, claiming that like this guy was talking in their ear and like possessing them to do it. I don't remember what it's called, but that kind of sounds like that news story. But it also sounds really good. Then our last murder mystery detective bit is All the Dangerous Things. This looks familiar. I feel like I've seen it before. But this lady's son gets kidnapped, and she has to talk to this. She like dives into these investigations to find her son back. But it also sounds super good. So that's all of my murder, mystery, detective stories from my haul. Okay, so next we have our, is it fiction? Like the real ones? The ones that's like real information that like actually happened. Those, the educational books. I have 4 of those. We have How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents. When their father's part in a plot against a cruel dictator forces them to flee the Dominican Republic, the Garcia sisters, Carla, Sandra, Yolanda, and Sofia, came to America. But 1960s New York City is vastly different from the genteel, if troubling, existence they left behind. A world marked by maids, manicures, a loving family, and disappearances. Secret police raids, growing political unrest. What the sisters have lost, and what they find, is revealing in this exquisite novel from one of the premier novelists of our time. In America, the Garcia girls try to assimilate into the mainstream by ironing their hair, forgetting their Spanish, and meeting boys unchaperoned. Through it all, they remain caught between the old world and the new. So, this sounds really good. Not one I would like typically, pick up, but I think it would be a really good, maybe a little sad of a read, but I think it would be good. The next book in our factual section, we have The Freedom Summer Murders. So this is like a social justice book. I'll read the back. It says, on June 21st, 1964, 3 young men were killed by the Ku Klux Klan for trying to help Black Americans vote as part of the 1964 Freedom Summer registration effort in Mississippi. The disappearance and brutal murders of James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner caused a national uproar and was one of the most significant events of the civil rights movement. The Freedom Summer Murders tells the tragic story of these brave men, the crime that resulted in their untimely deaths, and the relentless 41-year pursuit of a conviction. It is a story of idealistic and courageous young people who wanted to change their country for the better. It is a story of black and white, and ultimately it is a story of our nation's endless struggle to close the gap between what is and what should be. So this one I think is going to be a little sad to read, but I think it would be a good historical read, very beneficial for the mind and for understanding what happened. So I am looking forward to reading this one as well. So the third one is Children of Hope. So this is about a whole bunch of children that were orphaned or abandoned because their parents were either killed off or were or died from having HIV or AIDS. And it's just like a little informational bit on what those children are going through. So this one will probably also be sad, but help strengthen the understanding of what they're going through. And then the last one in the section is Everything to Live For, and this one is gonna probably make me cry. This one is written by a mother of and her son committed suicide, and when he was 17, and this is about talking about what she went through and her struggles with that, and just an effort to like reach out and talk about what she went through and bring awareness to the problem of suicide in young people. So okay, all right, so that's all for the factual informational book section. Next, I don't really know what to call this section, so I'm gonna go with like contemporary, even though I don't necessarily know what that means. But the first one, there's 4 in this section as well. We have Wild Designs. I think this cover is so cute and colorful and very fun and exciting. And it's a bit of like a comedic book about the adventure of this woman, Althea Faraday. And she's 38, mother of 3, who's got a teenage son who's a Buddhist, a hypocritical sister who knows how to push all her buttons, a job on the endangered species list, and a love life to match. Just as she's settling into a comfortable level of chaos, a near-perfect man enters her life. Equipped to steal her heart and help her turn her passion for designing gardens into a new career, Patrick Donahue may be too good to be true. Amid wild roses, California poppies, scarlet flax, sweet rocket, love in a mist, and of course, plenty of dirt, Wild Designs is a refreshingly honest and funny read that celebrates the almost ready-to-bloom aspect of all our lives. So I think this is going to be a really cute, funny, like, palette cleanser book that like if I just finished a book that's like really heavy or like has a lot of context, I feel like this would be a good one to read in between there to kind of like mellow out my mind and like chill out before, you know, going on to the next book that's like equally as heavy. So I think this will be a cute little funny book. Next in the category we have All in the Timing, and I think this is gonna be like a wholesome-y book. We have this little town with these three sisters, and they're preparing for Easter in the inn that they work in. I think it's like a bed and breakfast, and they meet some friends along the way, and it's Easter, so I feel like it's gonna be very wholesome and sweet. So this one I think will be really good as well. I really like those like simple, wholesome, like kind of mellow books to chill out between the books that are like have a really deep plot and are very exciting, or like thrillers and stuff like that. So I really like these mellow books sometimes too. So I'm excited for this one. This one is The Mother's Promise. I think this is one that's gonna be a little sad as well. All their lives, Alice Stanhope and her daughter Zoe have been a family of two living quietly in Northern California. Zoe has always struggled with crippling social anxiety, and her mother has been her constant and fierce protector. With no family to speak of and the identity of Zoe's father shrouded in mystery, their team of two works until it doesn't. Until Alice gets sick and needs to fight for her life. Desperate to find stability for Zoe, Alice reaches out to two women who are practically strangers, but who are her only hope, Kate the nurse and Sonja, a social worker. As the four of them come together, a chain of events is set into motion, and all four of them must confront their sharpest fears and secrets about abandonment, abuse, estrangement, and the deepest longing for family. I feel like this one would be really cute, but also like maybe like this is gonna be a deep emotional one because of everything they have to go through. So I think this one will be good, but it might make me sad. Okay, the final one in this bit is called The Accidental Tourist. This one has very big font for me. I just think that like it like looks like big font. But this one is similar to the other ones, but this one is based on a man instead of a woman. We have this guy, what is his name? His name is Macon Leary, and he writes this book. It says, sedate, middle-aged Macon Leary hates to travel. That's why he's ideally suited to write The Accidental Tourist, travel guides, intended for business folks who crave Chef Boyardee when they're in Rome. Himself a tourist in the foreign country of life, Leary is a passive observer who'd rather rest comfortably with the familiar than give something new a try. When his young son dies, he can't adapt, can't show his grief. Abandoned by his wife, he slips back into the family fold in the care of his doting spinsterly sister. It takes a brassy, stiletto-heeled dog trainer named Muriel to shake Leary out of his self-regulated stupor. Muriel's so, well, different, frizzy-haired, loud, and eccentric, but warm and courageous too. She gives Leary good reason to sit up and think, and feel, and even to be happy again. This is a funny, endearing story about life's gentle surprises and the revitalizing power of love from a wise and gifted writer. So I feel like this one's going to be cute too. Again, another wholesome read. So I'm also looking forward to that one. That is all of our like contemporary, like wholesome ones. This next section, I'm gonna call it like the historical fiction bit. So we have Canby Island. This is following the life of a boy after something tragic happens in his past. I think his mom dies. He watches his mom drown. So this is gonna be like a sad like mystery kind of one, I think. Next we have Counting on Grace. This is back whenever there was like children were hired to work in like factories and stuff, and this child teams up with like a reporter to keep like document what they're going through. Then we have Magic Lessons. Oh, I didn't realize this was a series. This is book 1 of the Practical Magic series. So this one sounds good. I think this is going to tie with like the Salem witch trials. It says, where does the story of the Owens bloodline begin? With Maria Owens in the 1600s when she's abandoned in a snowy field in rural England as a baby. Under the care of Hannah Owens, Maria learns about the nameless art. Hannah recognizes that Maria has a gift, and she teaches the girl all she knows. It is here that she learns her first important lesson. Always love someone who will love you back. When Maria is betrayed by the man who once declared his love for her, she follows him to Salem, Massachusetts. Here she invokes the curse that will haunt her family. And it is here that she learns the rules of magic and the lesson she will carry with her for the rest of her life. Love is the only thing that matters. This sounds really good. When I put it in this section, I didn't really think it was like witchy or anything, but I think the Salem witch trials are like kind of cool to like read about, so I think this one will be good. We also have The Secret Life of Bees. I think this one is so cute. This is actually like my second copy of this book, so I'm gonna give one of them to my sister. But this is going back, set in South Carolina in 1964. It tells the story of Lily Owens, whose life has been shaped around the blurred memory of the afternoon her mother was killed. When Lily's fierce-hearted black stand-in mother, Rosalind, insults 3 of the deepest racists in town, Lily decides to spring them both free. They escape to Tiburon, South Carolina, a town that holds the secret to her mother's past, taken in by an eccentric trio of black beekeeping sisters. Lily is introduced to their mesmerizing world of bees and honey in The Black Madonna. This is a remarkable novel about divine female power, a story that women will share and pass on to their daughters for years to come. I think this one sounds really good. I don't remember where I got the first copy, but I've been wanting to read this one for a while, so I'm very excited to have this book. Next we have The American Plague, which is kind of like a journal entry about how yellow fever came to America and like how they was studied and all that. Then we have, I don't know if it's Silka's or Tilka's, I don't know what it is, but we have Silka's journey, and I think this is during the Holocaust. She's sent to Auschwitz, and then she's like, to keep herself alive, she's forced to like, not necessarily forced, because it wasn't like rape. She's like, she agrees to like have sex with the soldiers and stuff to like keep herself in good standing and to keep herself alive. And then, but then she's accused of like treason because she did that. So then she's sent to another concentration camp, but she eventually like finds like safety as being like a nurse for the soldiers. So I think this one sounds really interesting, but also like very sad. Next we have Rescued. We have an American mother and whose ex-husband kidnaps her kids and brings them to Iran, but none of like the American authorities or like Interpol or anything are willing to help her, so she has to go halfway across the world to rescue her kids. So I think this is gonna be like, oh, was it a real story? Oh my gosh, it was a real story. They have like pictures of her life. That is so scary. I feel so bad for her. But so I think this will be an intriguing read. We have Defying Hitler. I haven't even looked at this one yet. We also have pictures, so this must be real. Written in 1939 and unpublished until 2000, Sebastian Haffner's memoir of the rise of Nazism in Germany offers a unique portrait of the lives of ordinary German citizens between the wars. Interesting. So that might be interesting to read. And the last one in this section I think is more of like a young adult book. It's called The Perfect Horse. I think it's also set during World War II with the Germans. It's found out that Hitler has kidnapped these purebred horses. I don't know what breed they are. These purebred, oh, that's all they are. The finest purebred horses. He's like stolen them and then is like breeding them on some farm in Germany so his soldiers can have like the best horses. And it's about like rescuing those horses. So this might be a little below my level, but I think it'd be so cute to read. So that's all of the historical ones. We now have a couple that are like roughly romance books. So we have Forever. So I don't know what you guys think when first looking at this, but this is a witchy book. We have like this guy who has this giant scar on his chest that he got when he was 3, but he doesn't remember how he gets it. So he does like this adventure to discover his past, to figure out why he has this scar on his chest, and it leads him to some witch connection. So also like falls in love with like his coworker or like assistant. So, but like the witchy part also places her in danger. So I don't know, maybe like a bit of a mystery romance combo. Then we have Scruples. This doesn't really have a whole lot of context on the back. It just talks about this lady getting rich and falling in love. So this could be interesting. It's a little wonky, like the side is messed up, but it's an old book from an antique store. So, oh my gosh, the words are so small. This might take a long time to read. She's thick. Then we have Accident by Danielle Steele. I have no context. There's no... this is all it says. For a summary, a little snippet. It says, in one tragic moment, everything changed. Her daughter's life, her marriage, her world. Accident, a novel of courage. So, I don't really know what this is about. I put it in the romance section because Danielle Steele, I know that's not the only thing she writes, but that's the only thing I've read from her. So, we have Accident. We have a Nora Roberts novel called Carolina Moon. I think it's a small town romance. There's the main character girl, I think her name's Tori. Her best friend from childhood was murdered, and then as she gets older, she returns to town and like falls in love with her murdered friend's like older brother, but like the murderer was never caught, so he's still out there. So there's also that. And then the final one is like Lakeside Peril. I think this one is like mostly like suspense, but I think there is a twinge of romance in there as well. So also, I think because it says suspense and then romance on the back, so I don't know, I guess it's both. So that is the gist of all the books I've gotten for Christmas. I got 49 books over Christmas. 2 I bought myself, but I got 49. That is an insane amount of books to get at one point. So I'm shocked, but also very excited to finally read all of these. I am at my parents' house for Christmas. I'm not home in my apartment. So, and because I can't take all of these books with me home because I have to fly, I'm gonna leave these here and have this be like my summer TBR. And I'm gonna read the books I already have at my apartment between now and then. So, stay tuned for a long time if you want to hear what I think about all of these books. I hope everyone had a great Christmas, and I hope you have a fantastic New Year.